White women like me dominate teaching, and here's why that's a problem. And of course, the obligatory picture with the ethnically diverse element. I can name the black educators I had growing up on one hand. One hand. Probably because you grew up in a white neighborhood. And guess what? In-group preference is a thing. People from a group of people like to hang out with the same group of people. That's not racism. They just like to hang out with people who know them and understand them and have similar interests and a similar cultural background.
And you know where else that happens?
It's not racist. It's normal.
It happens in prison.
Yes, it absolutely happens in prison. It happens in every other country in the world, except for white countries, because we're not allowed to do that. But I didn't say that. Don't bother to listen to me.
I got you.
And if I had the ones in college and graduate school, and if I add the ones in college and graduate school, I'm still on that same one hand. Let's take a look at some data for context. They did a rough calculation of the total number of teachers I've had in my preschool to 12th grade public school career, about 52. So for me, 5.7 of my teachers were black. That's not far from the national average. That's right on target, though.
Yeah.
Listen to me. 13% of the population of the United States of America is black. Okay? 7% of that 13% is either a child or an old person. You're left with 6%. Okay? About 5.1% of that is the young adult bunch.
That's responsible for 52% of all violent crime.
We didn't say what? Who said that? I didn't say that. Did you say that?
I said that.
Is it getting dark? Is it getting dark in here?
I'm just saying. If you look at the
that leaves like 1% left to be teachers. So her number is spot on. It's exactly where it should be. This idea that there aren't enough black teachers is silly. That's exactly as many black teachers as there should be. The average teacher, I do well to look in the mirror because I am the average American teacher, 43-year-old white female. Here's why that's a problem. Our children need to see themselves in their teachers. In my hometown of Lakeland, Florida, the 2010 census found that 20% of the population identified as black. That was only true in 2010. Lakeland used to be very white. If only 7% of our teachers are black, we aren't doing justice to our kids. Wait a minute. What's this justice thing? Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yep. The trigger words. The trigger words to cause fear, panic, or being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Our teaching workforce needs diversity to meet the needs of our kids, all of them. So you want to accommodate all of the kids. Mm-hmm. In other words,
that's DEI.
What this is, it is DEI, and it is also soft racism. And what I mean by that is she looks at these children of color and she sees that they have needs that are not in line with white children. They're not as privileged as white children. It's racist. You're straight up saying that you want them to be the same, but you know that they're not.
All right. Well, you're just hang on. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, this is starting to become less and less true, but 10 years ago and beyond, the black community was run by single mothers. And when you look
it is now.
It was back then as well. But when you look at the statistics, single mothers produce a large majority of the murderers, the convicted felons, the rapists, the drug addicted, suicidal ideologies, what have you.
We did that show early on when we first started Second Class Citizen, and it was like 80%.
Yeah. But I mean, that is where the disparaging, that's where the bad outcomes are for the black community. Is back in the day, majority were single mothers. Now that's starting to bleed over into the white community now. And when that gets out of control, this country's done.
Yeah. Here's another important buzzword. You're absolutely correct, but here's another important buzzword. Let me get that thing back up there. Thank you, Jimmy. Research has shown. Anytime you hear the phrase research has shown or studies show or experts agree, you're being subjected to what Yuri was talking about with the bullshit. Yep.
Hang
It
on.
is
Hang on.
it is standard propagandizing. Research has shown that having more black teachers helps black students succeed academically. Tell that to Chicago, New York, Detroit, St. Louis, Atlanta, where the teachers are Boston, Baltimore, where the teachers are majority black.
Mhm.
This doesn't seem to be the case.
You say
They
Detroit?
just I did.
Ah.
They just did a study in Chicago. Something like 85% of the students are illiterate. 85%. That's horrific.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's horrific. How the hell do you get to 85% of your kids can't read, write, or do math?
Yeah.
I mean, beyond like a street corner drug deal, I'm sure they can
Here's
handle that.
another thing. A lot of those blue cities with these terrible stats for reading, writing, and arithmetic,
Yeah.
they get a higher amount of tax dollars from their state. Where is that money going? Because you're not seeing it in the results. Not at all, especially in Detroit.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's really bad. Dr. Megan Allen is a national board certified teacher, 2010 Florida Teacher of the Year, the founder and owner operator of the Community Classroom Tutoring and the host of To the Core, an education podcast for parents. She's also served families as a public school teacher in Florida, a college and university faculty member, and the director developer of a graduate program for teachers. This is exactly the kind of person that we don't need anywhere near our children. She is obviously insane and suffering from academiosis and mental pause.
She's that picture is the author, correct?
That is correct.
You see that evil smile?
Yeah. Look at here's how you can
That's
tell. Can I
crazy.
hide her mouth? Look at the eyes. If the eyes don't smile, you've got crazy on your hands.
I'm telling you, this is just my opinion now.
Yeah.
She's probably in her younger days rode a mean penis.
Yeah.
Because there's no pussy better than crazy pussy, and that's crazy right there, 150%. I'm just saying.
Oh my God, yes. Absolutely. So
Wait,
now
here's another thing we haven't mentioned.
what's that?
School unions or teachers unions.
Teachers unions get their salaries hiked all the time where the teachers don't get anything. That's the first thing comes to my mind.
And you can't fire incompetence. You can't punish teachers for not actually for their students not being able to master the subjects that they teach.
Yeah.
I mean, so you literally keep incompetent or lazy or individuals who are so skewed teaching students, you can't even remove them. That needs to be changed.
Yes. That absolutely needs to be changed.
And that tenure shit, that needs to go right out the fucking window. Sorry.
It shouldn't be invulnerable.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It shouldn't be invulnerable.
Right, okay.
I can see a point to tenure to a degree. That makes it harder for a university, for example, to just fire a professor because the guy's been there for so long that he's got more of a salary, and it is a numbers game. It is a pure profit spreadsheet entry where they can hire a younger professor for less money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not into firing a guy who's got 30 years of experience so that I can put a guy with no years of experience in his place just to save a few dollars.
And another thing
in that respect, tenure is good.
Yeah. And another thing that will help is school of choice.
Yes.
So if you have a shitty school district and everybody pulls their kids out of there because it's shitty, they have no choice but to fix it.
Yes.
Or it will cease to fucking exist.
Yeah. That's already happening. That schools all over Detroit are closing.
Oh, they've been closing forever.
Yep. And the good schools, Cass, and a couple of others.
Yeah.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.